So, the question we all want to know the answer to is, how do we make our mountain bike tyres tubeless? So, stick around and I'll show you how to make the tyres tubeless. So, what we'll need for the job is some tyre levers, which is one of these tools. If you don't have one of these, you can just use a normal blade screwdriver, which will do the job. Then you'll need an Allen key to take out your through axle so you can get the tyres off, so it's easier to work on them. If you don't have a through axle that requires a Allen key, you might have a quick release, or you'll require some spanners to take off the bolts. And then onto the parts you'll require is some tubeless sealant, some universal tubeless valves, and some rim tape, or you can just use Gorilla Tape like I am using right now. So, also one thing you require is you must have appropriate footwear, and what I am doing right now is incorrect because I have no footwear and I could drop one of the tools. Hey, now I've got shoes on, we can continue on with the video and I'll show you how to make your tyres tubeless. So first up, the tool we're going to be required to use is our Allen key, and that is to take off our through axle so we can get our front wheel off. Undo it. And once you've undone it, pull it out and make sure you put this away and keep care of it. Now our front wheel is disconnected and we can just take it out. As I've just done there, make sure you put that down. Now what we're required to do is to let out all the air in this tyre, and how we do that is by unscrewing the cap first, put that away, and then you unscrew this little knob here and then you push it in and let all the air deflate. Take this, unscrew, and then push it in. Make sure to undo the valve here, this little lock nut, take it off, put it somewhere safe and take the valve out, and there we have a separate rim to the tyres. Make sure you keep this inner tube just in case you have a puncture on the trails. You can slip this tube in if the tubeless sealant doesn't block up the big hole. So you can let the rest of the air out and put it aside somewhere safe. And now with this tyre, make sure you get all this gravel I just got in it, and with the rim it is ready to be made into tubeless. So keep watching. So with my tubeless rims, they need to be taped. So what you'll need to do is get a finger underneath it and just lift it off. And work your fingers around and it'll come off really clean. It is like just a plastic cover thing. I don't know why they put it on and call it tubeless ready, but it's a bit weird, but we'll live with it. So what you can do with this is you can just dispose of it. There's not much use for it. So now what you'll be required to do is to clean up the rim so you can tape it, and the tape gets a good hold on the rim and makes it all sealed with no air bubbles, because that's the last thing you want, is your tubeless tyres losing air so you can't ride. And the main thing is you want to get out on the trail and be shredding those trails. So now you'll need just a clean rag and just wipe it all off, whatever dust I got on it from doing this on the gravel driveway. Do that, and now what you'll need to do is to go from the valve hole right there, to go straight across to the opposite where the rim has been welded together, and that's where we'll start taping it. And grab. So this is the time where the Gorilla Tape will shine. Get rid of the cover, and here's our Gorilla Tape. I'll take it off and we'll place it right on the rim weld, and you'll have to work it really hard into there. Just start on the rim, making sure you don't make any bubbles, and pull nice and tight, going all the way over the rim. And we'll finish this up here. Make a good clean snip straight across the tape. And there we go. Make sure you go all around, making sure you've got it nice and seated in the groove. Sure there's no air bubbles. Looks like I've done pretty good. No air bubbles. Yep, and that's what you do. And I'm so sorry because I didn't at the start say that you required a scissors, but now you know. So now what you'll be required to do is to make a hole, a really small hole just over the valve hole, just so you can push in your valve in there. But you don't want to make it too big of a hole because you could make a big mess, and then you'll have to retape it, and I'm sure none of you people out there would want to retape this because that's just a waste of tape. So what you'll need to do is to find the valve hole, which is right there, and then get your scissors or whatever sharp tool you have on hand, and then make a small, very small pinprick, as you can see right there. And then now we don't need our scissors, so we can just throw them away and grab our valves, open up the packet, and the rubbish, throw that away, because what's the point in keeping rubbish? Now you grab one valve, put the second valve away to save for the second tyre which hasn't done yet. Grab the valve, put the cap somewhere safe, and then take this nut off, screw it off, just taking its time, and then put that somewhere safe. And then now where you've made your hole is to push through your valve ever so carefully, push it through, and it'll make its own way through, and then it's out, ta-da, on the other side. And there, that universal plug, because it's circular, yours may not be circular, just put it so it's on that top groove, and you'll be all sweet, ready to go. Now grab your little nut back and put it on, screw it on right till it sits at the top. Yours may have an O-ring to put there, but this one doesn't, so it does not require an O-ring. But if you do, you put it in between the rim and the nut, just if you have one. So now you require your rim and your trusty tyre to go back on to the rim. So you put one side of the tyre on. So once you've muscled one side of the tyre on, now you can just clean it out and then put the top part onto the bead or into the rim, and just leave the bottom part open so you can put the sealant in. You're going to require a pump, so we can pump it up, put the tyre on the bead, and then we'll open up the bottom and then drop the sealant in. Once you've got one side in, then it's a lot easier to get the other side in. But if you have, like, if it's really easy to put the tyre on, then you may need to put another layer of tape onto the rim, because the tyre won't pump up very well. If sealing the tyre onto the rim isn't working, then just grab your tube and your rim and just sneak it into the tyre, and just pop it in and then pump it up. Get both tyres seated, and then both sides seated into the bead, and then take it out, and then take one side off the bead, and then the other side's popped in, and then it makes it way much easier. So it's now time to grab your sealant and put it into your tyre. I'm going to put in around 2 to 3 on this scale here. 2 to 3 ounces of it into here. So make sure you give it a good shake, and then I just drop it in like this onto the side through the side of the rim, and we'll see how we go. So now you've put it in, it's time to put this onto the rim, and we'll put the sealant on and see if it'll pump up. All the way around, so the sealant is sitting at this end of the tyre, and we'll push this onto here. Try not to get too messy. Grab our little tyre lever, slot it in. And there we go. As you can see, sealant is coming around here, but that should be alright. Now we'll see if it'll pump up. Now it's the moment of truth to see if it doesn't go like mine does, as is seeming not like it's not going to go. We can use one of these tools. So what we can use is an air compressor behind me there with this attachment on the end, and we can slot it right on to the valve, and then hopefully it'll seat. As you can see, it'll go straight on there. And as you can see there, it popped on. Beauty. We can popped on now. It's nice and sealed. I'm stoked. First tyre done. Now we're on to our second one. This one's popped in. As you couldn't hear it because the air compressors was running, but it made a pop. It won't make it. It only made one pop because there's only one side of the bead. But as you can see, it just needed that bit more herbs to get it to pop on. So I'm stoked. Let's move on to the next one. So if you don't have an air compressor and you have a hand pump like I had out there, it's pretty hard to pop it on. Well, for this setup here with my Maxxis Recons 2.8 inch tyres on my 27.5 inch wheels and my spank rims, it was a struggle with that, and it didn't pop on, so I had to use this air compressor, which in the long run I reckon most people should have, because they're just so much easier because they're more powerful. And this thing here cost me $3, whereas that pump over there cost me $60 Australian. That cost me $60. This cost me $3 Australian, this adapter. And that only does bike tyres, and the air compressor over behind me here, that can pump up car tyres, that can pump up anything you want it to pump up. As long as you have one of these, you can pump up anything. So I think it's a better investment. If I was you, I'd go out and invest in an air compressor. Even if it's a small one, like just a small portable one, it'll do the job because it's a lot more powerful, and it has multiple uses, whereas that only has one. Okay, move on to the next one. Back outside with this tyre that I've just popped in. We're going to leave it overnight. As you can see, it's getting dark. It's about 5 o'clock. We're going to leave this out, well, in the shed, so it's out from the weather, and we're going to leave it overnight. Don't ride on it or anything. Just leave it overnight and come back tomorrow. Check the PSI. If it hasn't changed, then you've done well. If it loses a bit, it's alright. It's just sealing up, and give it a good spin so you can let the sealant do its job. And that's it. And we'll check those tyres tomorrow to see if they're keeping air, which hopefully they will. And time for me to clean up this horrible mess and put the bike in the shed because it's becoming night time. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hello guys, we're back and it's a new day. Let's check if the Tubeless tyres have air in them. So, we're going to need a pump and we'll just use our hand. Oh, the rear tyre one feels like it's lost a little bit of air, but as you can see, the sealant will have a little bit of sealant around the edges. It's not too much, it looks like it's plugged up the holes. The front one looks like it's kept. Yeah. So now we'll pump them up to the correct PSI that I want in the tyres. We put in 12 PSI, well that's plenty enough. But when I go out on the trail, I will lower it a bit. Just give it a shake to make sure all the sealant is around there. And make sure you can't hear any air leaks. Seems pretty good. Lower side. Now we're all complete. Both tyres are holding air. Now to put them on the bike. Hope that was helpful. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and check out our other videos. And then make sure you get off YouTube now and go shred the trails. See you in the next one.